I believe that femininity is an expression of the artistry of women all around the world to find the beauty in whatever environment they may be in. If you live in the mountains, then you're going to use the beauty of the mountains to decorate your body, to decorate your hair, to decorate your face, to decorate any parts of your being that you would like to accentuate. Being here in Peru gave me a different sense of femininity than I had ever seen before. The women of the Andes are short and stout, and they wear long pigtails, and their skirts are full, and their tops are woven with alpaca. Their hats are also made with alpaca fleece, and they are decorated with colorful socks, and it looks a little bit like elven shoes. And they sit in markets and they sell herbs and they create artistic candles and make chicharron and leche bebidos and lots of different other things. They're always moving. They have babies on their backs. They are hugging and kissing their boyfriends in the streets. And they are offering you a taste of pastry to lure you in to sit in their shops for hours and hours and continuously buy from what their beauty has lured you into. And so, how I see the magnitude of jealous masculinity operate. Now, this is not just in the U.S. or just in one part of the world. This is an ancient disease that has caused women to be crucified and burned at the stake. I work with many a woman who have dealt with this in past life to where they're afraid. It is the fear of allowing your connection to Mother Nature that keeps men thinking that they can call the shots of what beauty is and what femininity is. Yeah, fear, fear, fear. A lot of us are afraid. We don't want the same things to happen to us over again. What does it mean to be a witch? 'Cause that's what I'm talking about. A witch is someone that can read nature. It's point blank in the period. You could say someone that has an extreme obsession and focus on nature and cultivating a relationship with nature and understanding the elements and the properties, and that so far that she can create magic, you know, practitioner. I don't like the word witch. It's for me, I mean, it's a fun word to throw around, but it's kind of like calling somebody a bitch or a nigger. You know, it's being used in a derogatory way and it's gotten people killed. So for me, in my gut, the word calling me calling me a witch gives me a guttural detraction where I'm like, no. Because some people do. They'll be like, you're a witch. And I'm like, no, call me that. You know, no, I wouldn't say that. You know, because I'm trying to protect myself. You know, I'm trying to keep myself safe because there's a part of me that is I'm black. First of all, I'm a woman. First of all, and I'm also very sensitive and connected to realms that people feel threatened by or afraid of. You know, so I'll be like, nah, don't call me that. Oftentimes in my life, I have people have given me readings all throughout my life. My initiations have started very early without me even asking. You know, some people seek out readings. I've never had to, you know. All throughout my life, people have told me that you want to be a normal person, but you're not. That's scary. You know, my first lady at church, I went to a church called Solomon's Temple. Interesting, right? And I was close to the first lady in my church because of my gifts and my sensitivity, my musicality, and my youth, really. It was profitable or a kind of a gimmick to have a little child sing lead for adult choir, right? Churches always do that. They find a little kid with a lot of talent and they'll put you up front and everybody's like, oh my God, how does she do that? She's so little and so cute. But anyway, one day she called me down into her office and told me she had a dream that my hands were on fire. And she thought that meant I was supposed to direct the choir. And she trained me how to direct the choir at like 8 years old, you know. But later in life, now I know from working with a Reiki master that told me that I didn't need to be, what do you call it? What's that word? When you go through your lessons and then you get at the end of Reiki, it'll come to me maybe. Attuned or something. She was like, you're already attuned. But I mean, she gave me my attunements, but she told me I was already attuned, you know? And so, and people have told me that they're afraid of me my whole life. They're like, I'm scared, you know? And of course there are some people who be like, of Asia, because that's my birth name. You're afraid of her? She's the coolest, you know, but a lot of people have been afraid of me, which is in turn made me afraid of myself. Now, men will tell you that they're not afraid of feminine. The feminine, no, they're not afraid of it. It's just that, you know, you guys are too aggressive, masculine, and trying to take our space. Well, they're used to us not taking up space. That's what I'm trying to say. With our gifts and we have had to stay hidden. Right? We have had to keep our true connection to the goddess, to the earth, to femininity hidden. One of my first encounters with some of these lessons is going to sweat lodges in the mountains in Georgia. The Indian chief is Creek Indian, which is what my aunt told me. My family, what that is the federation, because I don't think Creek Indian is actually a tribe from my research. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I guess the technical name for a Creek Indian is Muskegee, but Creek Indians seem to be a federation created to protect what was left and make a deal with the government for the Indians that are still alive. But correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, he taught me that men created sweat lodges because they were jealous of women and their connection to Mother Nature. A sweat lodge is originally for women who are on their moon cycle. And coincidentally, every time I've gone to a sweat lodge, I've always been on my cycle. I've never been allowed, when a woman is on her cycle, she's not allowed in the sweat lodge. So I've always been on the outside of the sweat lodge. Isn't that interesting? I've always been on the outside of the sweat lodge, helping out, making sure everybody else was okay, encouraging other people, singing and playing instruments to keep everyone that's inside the sweat lodge. Was a really intense, like sauna cave experience with hot lava rocks, herbs, resins, and that have a lot of medicinal properties to help the people inside of the sweat lodge sweat out toxins. But I've never been inside of it. I wanted to, but I guess my cycle's too regular. Why is it? Until I started thinking about this, I never really I've always been vexed or maybe a bit frustrated that I haven't been allowed inside of the lodge. But I guess that was the men's way of keeping women outside of the lodge. Yeah, if you do it, if you have the sweat lodge during the full moon, then most of the women aren't going to be allowed in. If you say, oh, if you're on your cycle, you're not allowed in. That's BS. Oh, when I go back to Georgia and I go back up to the sweat lodge, I'm gonna ask him about that, and I'm gonna be like, I'm always on my cycle. Every time I come to one of these things, you know, I want to be in the sweat lodge, man. Let me in the sweat lodge. I want to experience it. But women, again, not allowed into the very activities that we inspire. Another interesting bit of info that I have to share. Long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago, I was like into studying other realms of reality, different planets, different beings on these planets, different civilizations and experiments on planets along with the experiments on Earth. all these things that I've run into in my life have allowed me to not be judgmental and assist people when they come to me with these things, because it's interesting that I'm not surprised by anything, and I can help damn near anybody. Anyway, there's this planet with mostly women with all feminine energy. And they say on this planet there is no adventure, there is no action. So Earth tends to be an experimental planet where people come and test their theories out and do research to see if they can fix things that are wrong on their planet. I don't know. I guess Earth is a vomit planet where people just come and F up and be like, oh, that's messed up. That didn't work, you know? And they incarnate in like human bodies and stuff. You could possibly be from another dimension. You never know. As far as what I've learned about incarnation from talking to my ancestors is that you can be half incarnated as one thing, half incarnated as something else, another part of you be from someplace else. Like there is no like linear or rule or rhyme or reason to how our energies are put together. And as far as like everybody trying to figure out everything all at once, you are never going to do it. So you deal with the layer that is coming up to be faced, to be healed, to be seen, to be heard right now, and you just keep blending your juice and move on about your day. But on this planet, they decided that they wanted more action. They wanted more masculine energy. So they incarnated some beings here on Earth to try to create more of a balance between the feminine and masculine energy, meaning that allow the feminine to accumulate some masculine energy. So that would maybe create something like incarnations where witches are burned at the stake. Listen, I'm going somewhere with this. Women are burned at the stake. The feminine is deemed as evil and something to be intimidated by or scared of, right? So then that creates fury, rage, frustration. At first, it creates a trauma energy to where you feel stuck. When somebody feels stuck and their energy wants to move, you go to extremes to get moving. That will create frustration and oppression in society where there's an imbalance of too much masculine energy. Yeah, too much. where women are so afraid to be themselves, use their voice, and be connected to spirit and to nature, and to basically do our thing, you know, that the masculine will get too big of an ego and think that it rules. Like nowadays, women are starting to awaken and heal. It's not just about saying, I can do whatever a man does. No, that's not it. That's not it. It's like I can do whatever a woman does, and I can do it to the full glory and extent of my ability. Yeah, that's it. You know, and because I don't care about a job title or career title. I mean, there are female swordsmiths. There are women in everything. So what? It's feminine. It's the connection piece. It's the insight, right? That creates a ruler that the intellect feels intimidated by. You don't feel connected through your mind. A lot of times in sessions with people, assisting people with moving their mind out of the way and getting into your emotional body, because I'd be like, that's not a feeling. That's not a feeling either. And to the point where I realize someone doesn't know how to put their feelings into words, we will go and I'll give you a feelings list. I'll give you a needs list. I'll give you, you know what I'm saying? So it's about connection to life. And when you connect with life, you don't think, you just be. And that is power. No power at all, actually. It's straight up surrender. And then your vitality is eternal. I'm not explaining it correctly, I know. But I'm trying. Okay, that's all I can do is try. And so you go to extreme and the masculine rules because the women, they have shut the women down over generations and generations. Women have been afraid because of their past lives and their grandmothers. I read people's charts all the time. Man, a lot of women have this in their astrology chart, to where there's a lot of disrespect, pain, and torture, and abuse towards the feminine and the matriarchs in their family. And you're here to learn to not be afraid of fear. That's something new I learned. That in order to heal and move forward, you have to learn to not be afraid of fear so that you can face the fear, so that the fear can be dispersed or used as courage. That takes time and skill and just sitting with things and using reason to and knowledge. Knowledge always dispels fear. It is the unknown, what you don't know, is what makes you afraid. So if you educate yourself on whatever you're afraid of, the fear will go away. And so in this experiment, we see the masculine being more infused in the feminine principle, making the masculine here on earth feel like they have to fight for their life. It's like, oh no, you bitches aren't going to run the world and take away our kingdom. Well, I don't believe in bashing anyone in order for you to come up. It's not about that. It's about having a balance. When you, it's kind of like what I have experienced with not being a scapegoat in my family anymore and going no contact from my mom. Man, you have to get your power back. And you don't get your power back by directly fighting. That's what they want. That's what a narcissist wants. They want you to directly spar with them to keep the battle going, keep the fight going. Because once you individuate and your energy actually leaves that's the space and you become neutral, they don't have a hold on you anymore, then the tables turn naturally and you don't have to say a word, because everyone will see the fruits of your labor. The Bible says, by their fruits you shall know them. So as the feminine gets back, not only into her feminine space, because it's not gender based, just to let you guys know, but I'm using gender. The masculine will have to learn to get along, really. Eventually they'll calm down, because now they're like, well, we don't want you, because we have shown them that the most important thing to us, because we've been out of our power, is that we possess them. Which makes us enslaved to them. Do you guys realize that when you possess something, you're also enslaved? And women can't figure out for the life of them why being in relationships makes them miserable as well. But they're not willing to, a lot of women aren't willing to challenge that thought, because it's like an awakening for them as well about the truth about your own nature. About the breakdown of society, and that we need to let go of the titles and the classism that we put on one another, depending upon whether or not you're married or single or have a child out of wedlock or whatever. I do believe that there should be consensus of some type of organization because of children, you know? I'm so sorry. I don't believe that children should go without and suffer. Yeah. But while we're figuring out who we are, it's rough. It's a rough world to let go of living unconsciously. To living consciously. It's like let me get me. Let me have all of me. You know, I don't need you to tell me how to be, so that your dick can get hard. Because you're obsessed with things that, you know, I don't want to be a part of. Like porn. And just the objectification of women. You got to start participating in that. It's us women that need to stop objectifying ourselves in order for us to really feel comfortable being a woman in our own skin. You know, you got to take it all back. You got to stop allowing men and media, I guess, and other women too, to stop telling us what it means to be feminine. Like I had to, my little sister, who's 12 years younger than me, thought that putting on lip gloss was feminine. Now, beautifying from an inner connection with beauty. Beauty is a virtue. Beauty is a spiritual path. Beauty is something that you can focus on every day. Beauty is a science. And I say that if you want to focus on beauty, a great goddess to work with is Lakshmi. brings beauty and abundance. The whole package. But you focus on it and you cultivate it from within, and it will show from without. You will, the more you focus in on your beauty, your beautiful energy, your God-given attributes, the more you meditate and take care of your body, the more you heal yourself and get that rage and fear out of your lower chakras, and you let your womb speak, you will become lighter, and you will desire to adorn yourself with crystals and stones and gold and silver to show off your inner beauty, how you feel about life. It's an expression. It's not let me get a man. I want to get a man. No, men will flock to you. People will flock to you in general. Everything will flock to you. Some of you know about that, some of you don't. Okay? If you want to know more about that, and that's something that you would like to focus on, contact me on my website, afairygoodlife.com. A Fairy Good Life. Ugh. I love the name of my business because I mean it. I really am passionate about not only myself having a very good life, but extending that out into the world. Because if I help one person, I love it. I'm affecting a family. I'm affecting a community. Seriously, that's how I feel about it. Everyone needs to focus on what that means for them, what it means for you to have a very good life. And it starts with your own daily spiritual practice, because without it, you'll just be putting on a mask every day. And if it doesn't come from within, then you'll collapse eventually. You won't be able to hold yourself together. Your slip will begin to show. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me on my channel. I have lots of series with Mars and Pluto, and Neptune, and Chiron. Maybe coming, well, not maybe, coming next year. We're starting on Venus. Have my Life Path series where I've done readings for your personal year and also for your life path. There's a lot here for you to dig into, and I appreciate you with all of my heart and soul. Bye for now.